New Hampshire, September 5th, Edmund Call North to Madison Hut. This is a one-day hiking trip over Labor Day weekend. We arrived at the AT parking area off of Route 2 at the airline trail. It was 7 o'clock in the morning when we started this hike, and we will not be back to this parking lot until 7 o'clock tonight. We started out on the airline trail and then turned onto the short line trail. The hiking was harder than I had remembered. We reached the Randolph Patch Trail, where the trail really started the steep climb up. It had gotten really windy and cold when we had reached the tree line, and now it was getting much colder. We had no gloves with us and had to wrap our hands with toilet paper and put plastic baggies over it to make a makeshift gloves. The wind was blowing hard through the mountains. Some hikers had come toward us and had told us that it was extremely windy at the top and that the clouds were sitting on top of the mountain. It was getting so cloudy now that we could barely see the cairns in front of us that marked the trail, and the visibility was so poor now. It was sunny and warm when we started out on the trail. The last time that we were up here was in 2008, and it had rained down on us on the way down, and we had lost our video of the top because the camera had got wet and damaged the camera. We turned onto the Edmund Cole Trail and reached the AT, where we were in August 2005 when we had come to this junction from Mount Washington. We turned onto the AT and headed north to Madison Hut. However, when we reached the junction to Mount Adams, the rain started to pour down on us with a strong, cold wind. We were totally unprepared for this kind of weather again, as we did not bring any rain gear. You would think that we would have known better now. It was a long, tortuous climb up and a slippery descent down to Madison Hut. We finally arrived in the hut, tired and soaked, with no cash to get any soup. We got a free cup of tea from one of the crew, as we were both shivering pretty badly, and we were so thankful. The hut was in a nice location, and I really loved it here, but it was full, and there were noisy children that were running around everywhere. One of the crew had asked us if we were staying the night, and when I told her that we had to head back down, she asked us if we had ever done the airline trail before. I think that she had thought that we were inexperienced hikers when we came in, so that must have been why she gave us the tea. I told her that we had been up here before and had taken the airline trail both up and down. She told us that we should take the Valleyway Trail down and not the airline trail, because it would get us down below tree line more quickly and out of the bad weather. I thanked her and we headed to the Valleyway Trail. Well, we headed down the Valleyway Trail and it was a much steeper descent and relentless. The rocks going down were slippery and it was a long, torturous descent down. We were dying on this descent. We had finally reached the tree line and passed through a nice pine forest with a very nice waterfall. However, we were just too tired to enjoy it, and it was pushing closer to sunset, and the woods were starting to get darker. We reached our car at 7 o'clock and drove back to our campsite at the Dolly Cop campground. We fixed our dinner in the dark with a small flashlight, a very small flashlight. Today was a very hard hiking day, second worst weather day, right behind the backpacking trip over the Bigelows in Maine. We did not see or heard any wildlife on the trail today.